Right, hello and welcome to the very first Nerdy Football Lads podcast with myself, Kev, and Brandon. Brandon, how you doing?
I'm not too bad. How are you, Kev?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, man. Excited?
I am very excited to be fair. This is something that I think we both wanted to do for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned it to you coming a couple of weeks ago now,
If that, aye.
and we've kind of been buzzing
Pretty much.
buzzing
Yeah,
since then.
pretty much.
Yeah, we're going to be bringing to you everything NFL, so news. We're going to be ranking quarterbacks, wide receivers, teams, jerseys, anything that we can basically make a little bit of content out of. We're going to be doing that. Eventually, we're going to look at some maybe fantasy football.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big thing because obviously season's starting again. We've been waiting months for it.
Yeah. We're going to get into some predictions today, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be predicting some division winners and potentially some...
Comeback of the year players.
Thank you very much, mate, because my mind completely went there.
It's fine. I'm used to it.
And finally, along the line, we're going to end up getting some guests in because myself, a Patriots fan, you're a Cowboys fan. We can only represent two teams. So we're going to get some of the guys that we know come in and we'll get a little bit of perspective from some different teams. I've already had a few guys actually interested in coming down.
That's what you like to see.
Yeah, so it's really good. We're going to kick off today because when we get some guests in, we're going to start profiling them, asking them a few questions about their team, how they ended up liking their team, some of the favourite players and stuff like that. So I think it's only fair that we kick off exactly the same way. Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. Yeah. So my name's Brandon. I got into football when I was about 16, I think it was. Just tried Madden. Must have been Madden 12 or 13 at the time. Just free on the store. I thought I'd give it a crack. Enjoyed it.
Sorry, your first Madden was 13?
I can't have been.
That's crazy late.
Is it Man 13 OBJ on the cover? No, that's 15, isn't it?
Dan, honestly, that's late. Like mine was like 03 or something.
Oh, no. I was a late bloomer to American football.
Really? Because you know far more than I do.
Yeah, it's just, if I love something, like, it's just boom, that's it, straight
That's
into it.
crazy.
But, yeah, I was a late one, like I was 16, so we're on now, Madden 25. So yeah, it might have been 13 as a free trial.
That is true. You are younger than me, in all fairness. I did forget
that
this
is true,
fact.
yeah.
You know.
Almost a decade.
Yeah, which ironically, or not ironically, but you're about a decade behind in Madden games,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it makes sense.
Makes up for it.
Favorite Cowboys player currently?
I mean, CD's very obviously the choice in it. You know, he's balled out last year. He's been a perfect number 88. I do like Jake Ferguson. I think Jake Ferguson is I wouldn't say underrated, but I think he gets looked over a little bit.
Well, we had this conversation the other week, didn't we, about tight ends, and you were on about Jake Ferguson, and I was like, really?
I just think he just pops up when you need him. Those crucial conversions across the middle, he gets what he needs. He gets the yards.
That's what your tight ends are for, man. That's what your tight ends are for.
Exactly.
Right, so we're talking all time then.
See, this is tough for me, but
you've had some big guys.
Yeah. I think it has to be the person that got me to love the Cowboys the most, which was Des Bryant.
Oh, Des.
Des Bryant was my favourite player. Yeah, there's just no one that could stop him. Like
that. See, I think Des, because being completely honest from the bat, I'll tell you everything you need to know about the Patriots. But for the rest of the league, I'm not as in depth as you are. You know far more than I do. So I think about you, Des Bryant. And I think about the catch that wasn't a catch. Was it a catch or?
We can go back and forth. Everyone's got different opinions, but when I was sat there watching that in 2014, I can tell you right now, I said it was a catch. Was it 2014? Was it that long ago?
I don't know, because I seen him on. He was one of the main guys on Hard Knocks, on one of the earlier Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
And I actually quite liked him, to be honest. I really liked him.
He had what you needed in a receiver. He was in your face. You know, if you think you're the best, you're going to play the best.
I mean, that's what your wide receivers and your DBs. They're all that.
Yeah, they've got to be divas. They've got to be the number ones.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know anything about that.
Not for a while.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that this year.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, so we'll talk about all-time favourite game then. Maybe it was a game that got you interested in the Cowboys, or maybe it was a Super Bowl. Spoiler, it wasn't a Super Bowl.
Yeah, no. Sadly, I wasn't even alive by the last time Cowboys made it to a Super Bowl. But funny enough, the first game I ever watched was actually the Patriots against the Chargers. Many years ago. That was the first game I ever watched live on TV. And I started supporting the Pats just watching the game. You didn't really know much about the football, any of the teams, but I just saw it on TV. Thought, oh, they've got England in the name. I started supporting them. Then I got into football a bit more, and it was Ultimate Team, and I packed Des Bryant, and since then I've never looked back from the Cowboys.
So it's all been Des.
It's all been Des. It's all
Yeah,
been Des.
fair enough, man. You can't argue with that.
Aye, well, go on then. We'll go for you then. So, how? When did you get into football? You said it was 2003 Madden when you first started it.
I think it was about. It must have been Madden 03 or 04.
Right.
I think, and it's weird you saying that. I mean, it helps that we were one of the better teams in the league. I'm not going to lie to you, but I didn't watch any football until I played Madden, and then I watched football after that. It used to be on like Channel 4 or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, Madden 03 or 04, I can't quite remember. Looking for a decent team to be in. Oh, that one's got England in the name. You know, very similar thing.
Yeah.
And as I said, it helps that we're one of the better teams in the league at the time.
Yeah.
You know, we're in 2 Super Bowls in 3 years or something like that. So it kind of helps you, doesn't it? And not that we ever played really attractive football, but we played good football, and it's easier to watch, especially when you're getting into it. To you see it now. Obviously, I'm coaching the kids team.
Not going to elaborate on that a little bit.
There's I coach junior football, but we've got guys that want to be Chiefs fans.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a couple of Lions fans because the teams that are exciting to watch, you kind of follow them, and it's kind of easy to fall into like that. But yeah, it was as simple as they're decent, England in the name.
Yeah.
You know, I'll pick them, and then the rest is history, really.
It's weird though, isn't it, when you think about it, like how different the teams are now that are playing so well and winning so much, that when we were watching it, they weren't one of the better teams.
It's crazy. So you talk about the Lions in specifically. So our coach Nick has been a Lions fan for 30 or 40 years, I guess.
Aye.
And before last year, they'd not won a playoff game since, was it the
1970s?
I thought it was the 80s, so the 70s. It's crazy, man. But them guys, they go out. It's not particularly warm in Detroit. You know, cold weather kind of state. And I think Detroit's cold, isn't it? It's up there by Lake Erie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's near Canada, like so.
So them guys are going out watching their team for that long, and you know, you don't like to see other teams do well when your team's doing so poorly, but the Lions you like to see do well.
They are an exciting team to watch now. Like we've got like so many good players like Montserrat Brown, Laporta, Jamar Gibbs coming in and absolutely lighting it up.
Yeah, exactly. You're pleased for Goff last year as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know, he's that the trade with the Rams, man. You've got to be pleased for the Goff there.
He's in a place he loves now. You can see it in the way he plays. You can see he's just enjoying himself, which he should be doing.
Well, it's interesting because we're going to go into a little bit later. We're going to rate some quarterbacks, and I was really, really close to putting Goff in my top 5. You know, because I'm struggling for my 5th one, and on the basis of he's never been like, oh my god, he's always kind of been on the brink of being really good.
Yeah.
And then last year he took a team that obviously forever ago since they got in the playoffs and won a game, and he took them there, and you know, I genuinely think he was one of the better quarterbacks in the league. He did miss out on my top 5, but I genuinely do believe he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, I could see that from last year. Like some of the ball placements he was just giving out was ridiculous. I mean, like just the team itself, like Goff, like you said, was absolutely balling out, and he's happy in a team now. And even some of the players, like this year, I can't remember who it was against now, where he did the jet motion, popped the ball off to receiver, still stood there in the pocket like he had the ball, and 3 seconds after the ball had gone, he got cracked by the outside backer. Like,
goes with part of the job.
No, you know
that. It goes with part of the job. Quickly, I'll finish off my
top 5.
Not my top 5. I'll finish off my
favourite players.
My profile. I'll go favourite player currently. I don't know yet, so I'll go favourite player all time. It's too obvious to say Brady, so I don't like to say Brady. So I'm Gronk, I think. Gronk.
Aye.
If we talk about the players that I remember as a fan, you talk. My guys were always Gronk and Edelman.
Yeah.
But Gronk, you're talking about a guy that's, in my opinion, the best in his position all time.
Yeah.
You talk passing, blocking. He's just got insane numbers on both.
He does.
And
you're not wrong.
you do. You talk about like Kelsey's now and things like that, and
Kittles.
Kittle's the closest thing for me.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was going to.
Kittle's the closest thing for me because he does both. Kelsey, and I rate him. He's in my fantasy team this year. As a receiver, he's outstanding, but he's not getting them blocks in like
No, not
like
always,
George
no.
and Gronk does.
Yeah.
And Gronk's personality, man.
Yeah,
I know he
that's
left us,
true,
but
yeah.
when he went to, can you remember when he went to Tampa
I do, yeah.
and he needed another catch for his
Signing
bonus.
his catch bonus.
He
sorry.
got his catch and he's on the sideline going, I got a milli.
Yeah.
He's brilliant, man.
Yeah, well, that's it. Innit? They need to be entertaining, these players that you love.
Oh, well, they do, man, they do. And we've got one of the Lombardi trophies at the Patriots, and
Yeah.
it's still got the dent in.
Still got the dent from the
'Cause-
baseball.
Yeah, yeah. Gronk, man.
Yeah, what a guy.
Currently, it'd be easy to say May because everyone's excited about May.
Yeah.
Or Milton if you're on that side of the
Train, yeah.
fence for whatever reason. But I think currently my favourite player on the Patriots is Jabril Peppers.
Yeah,
So yeah, Jabril Peppers
I do like
safety.
Jabril,
That
yeah.
guy is a monster.
he is, yeah.
He came to us, I think, from the Giants. He's kind of stalled a little bit, and he got into a Belichick defense last year. And I swear to God, he was an absolute monster.
Yeah.
Did you see the hit on Devontae Adams last year?
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
for a Jelani Tavai pick.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, he nearly knocked his head off. Like it
Yeah.
was crazy. But
Yeah.
hard hitting, good in coverage, safety, but. You know, we're not really blessed on offense. So if I was to go offense, I'd go Pop Douglas. But yeah, Peppers for me.
Pop Douglas.
Peppers for me. Should we get into some news?
Yeah, we'll get straight into some news.
Some news, right? The big one for me, obviously, because we're talking about the Patriots just there, is the Brandon Ayuk trade. Is he going to leave? Is he going to go?
Yeah, it's
Or is he staying?
I mean, what was it? I saw something at practice a couple of days ago. It might have been where everyone's practicing and he's in full sweats at the sidelines. So
Yeah.
he's not training at the first teams at the moment, and it's at the back of your head, isn't it? Where if he's gonna go, where's he gonna go?
See, what's interesting to me is there were NFL Insider on the NFL Network were at the Niners training camp, and they were interviewing C-Mac, Christian McCaffrey.
Aye.
And I don't know if it's a slip of the tongue, but the guys on the NFL Network made a big deal out of it, and it might not be, it might be, but he was referring to Brandon Ayuk as a former teammate, which I think is really interesting. So basically, how this all came about is Washington, the Steelers, the Patriots, and the Browns initially were all interested in Ayuk,
Yeah.
right? So Washington dropped out, which is where Brandon Ayuk initially wanted to go because he was teammates with Jaden Daniels
Yeah.
at college.
He was
He wanted to go there. They dropped out. I don't know why. They don't want to pay him. I don't know what it is. So there was the three of us in. The Steelers then dropped out.
Yep.
They didn't want to pay the compensation that the Niners were after.
Mm.
From what I gather, the Browns offered a second-round pick in 2025 and Amari Cooper. The Patriots offered a second-round pick. Now, it's likely to be a higher second-round
Yeah.
pick, so almost a first-round pick if you're going off projections this
Yeah.
year, and Kendrick Bourne. So you're getting a slightly worse receiver, but a slightly better pick.
Yeah.
From what I gather, the Niners come out and said they're both acceptable trades, but didn't accept them. They said they're acceptable trades, which to me, and I say to me, I watch a lot of Patriots
Yeah.
media, and the guys at the Patriots media are all saying, well, why has one not just been accepted? They're waiting for someone else to come in. And the Steelers have now come back in.
Yeah.
Now, from what I gather, Ayuk's ideal destination is the Steelers.
Yeah.
Where does that put them if they had Ayuk to their team?
Well, I mean, you just think of it, don't you? Like, so obviously the Steelers got new quarterbacks in Wilson and Fields.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's
so,
interesting.
So
yeah.
that's two quarterbacks right there. You've got your veteran, you've got your guy who's been in the league for a couple of years, who people have said at the Bears, a lot of it was his fault. I don't think it was.
I agree. I like him, to be honest. We were linked with trading for him before the draft.
Yeah.
It was kind of were they going to trade for Fields or were they going to take the pick and go at quarterback.
Yeah.
And I wasn't too mad, to be honest. I mean, I'm happy with how it played
Yeah.
out. I wasn't too mad, but yeah, that's interesting because I don't think Wilson really lit it up in Denver either.
No, he didn't. Did he? It wasn't exactly as person he was when he was at the Seahawks. Obviously, like he was obviously a bit older, and now he's gone to Pittsburgh, fresh town. So now he's the veteran instead of being the young guy. But you look at two new quarterbacks, both of who pretty good in the league. And then you look at what they've got weapons-wise. They've just traded Deontay Johnson to
Right.
Carolina.
Right.
So he's gone to Carolina. They've just got Deontay Jackson, cornerback. So they've traded a wide receiver for the cornerback.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, there you go. Maybe it fits perfectly because they've still got Pickens.
Still got Pickens. They've just picked up Roman Wilson.
Right, that's right.
Picked up Roman Wilson from Michigan.
Yeah, so there's a gap there to be filled.
there's a gap there to
and
be
you can only
filled.
imagine they've got the cap space to hit that.
100%.
You know,
100%.
so I mean, to be honest, I think it's a lock that is either going there or is staying at the Niners. I
Yeah,
think the Patriots have officially came out, and I've not really heard anything from the Browns.
No, yeah,
But
I think
yeah, I was interested to get your thoughts because I'm kind of involved. I'm kind of really looking for that. So I was kind of interested to see because I think a lot of people don't see him as like one of these top end guys. But if you look at the percentage of players that he's involved with playing for the 49ers, they're not really that kind of team. They're not a gunslinging team.
No.
They're gonna hit you with C-Mac. They're gonna hit you short to George Kittle or Debo in the backfield or a slant or something. They're not really that ex-receiver, chuck it downfield team. So I think AIYUK, if I remember it right, AIYUK was top in the league with yards per catch.
I think that was about
which was
right,
like 12 yards, which is not bad going at all, but he's not involved enough. So the argument is, if you put him in a team that are going to throw the ball, is he going to get the ball? And is he going to put the same kind of numbers up?
Yeah, because like you've said, Debo, he was the whole package, wasn't he, for the 49ers? He was in the backfield, he was short, he was deep, he was essentially a running back.
Well, that's it.
And then obviously Kittle across the middle for a lot of stuff because he's unbelievable.
He is, he's
and then obviously you've got the best running back, I'd say, in the league, Christian McCaffrey.
Yes. I think that's pretty fair to say.
Yeah, and AIYUK again, but when you watch some of the plays that AIYUK makes, like even that deep ball where it got tipped and he caught it.
The Lions one.
The Lions one. And if you watch him, he had one play where he was blocking for Christian McCaffrey, and I think he must have had about 2 blocks there to get C-Mac into the end zone.
He's not small either,
he's 6 foot. He's not too skinny, not too short, pretty quick, but his hands are really good. So I think if he does go to a team where potentially they're not running that ball, they haven't got all these great options, like you've said, you can't have Debo, Kittle, AIYUK, Christian McCaffrey. You can't expect to give them the ball 10 targets a game.
So with that being said, do you think the Niners are right in letting him go regardless? I mean, they didn't come that close in the Super Bowl. They've got that in their arsenal. They've got them 3 guys. Can they afford to let him go, or was he part of that as much as...
I mean, obviously, they've just brought in Ricky Parcell as well in the first round. So that's another guy that's fighting for a spot. They've still got Juwan Jennings as well, who came in and played pretty well in the second half of the season when they got him. But...
you think they're thinking we can just plug anyone into that spot?
Yeah, I think that's what they kind of brought in Parsons for, because I think they were sort of unsure on AIYUK, so they thought we'll go out, we'll get a guy. We've still I think they've just paid McCaffrey this year. I think they might have done off the top of my head.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Can't remember off the top of my head, but obviously, so now they've got like I said, they've still got Kittle, they've still got Debo, they've still got McCaffrey. So that's just another mouth to feed, and he's going to want some money because he is a good player.
So talking money, I think the league highs Jefferson.
Yeah.
I think he's on 28 million. In fact, no, Tyreek Hill, I think, signed a new deal.
Yeah, he did with the guy.
I think he's on 90 million over 3 years. So I think he's about 30 million a year. From what I've heard and read, the Patriots were willing to offer AIYUK 30 million, which is you kind of top 2 or 3 receivers in the league money wise if you're taking that deal. So I think he maybe just didn't want to come because we're not good. I think that the tax in Massachusetts is a little bit higher, and it comes to October and you're playing in the rain and the snow.
Yeah, that's never not ideal for anyone, is it?
Coming from California, you can't help but think of these kind of things.
No, I completely agree. Yeah.
Next up, some new rules in the league this year.
Yes, I'm excited for these. To be fair.
Oh, I've just lost my cushion. Right, so first one is kind of. There's not really too much to say about it. It's the hip drop tackle. So they've been told they're not allowed to hip drop anymore. Brandon, what does that mean?
So it's essentially where you would wrap your hands, you'd get hold of the quarterback and you would just let the weight go from below your legs, and you'd essentially be landing on your hip to try and drag them to the floor. Obviously, there was a few injuries last year with a few tackles like that.
Yeah, there's risks of legs getting trapped underneath,
Yeah.
ankles, knees, things like that going.
Yeah. It's also like when they get the spin in it as well, and your ankles can get twisted, and that's when you don't want
The
to see
nasty
it.
ones to look at. I mean, I don't particularly agree with taking rules like that out because eventually, what's going to be left? But yeah, I can kind of see it because some of them, they're not nice.
No, they're not nice to look at all. I know Aiden Hutchinson had a few hip drop tackles last year that a few people moaned about. But like you said, it's his job to get to the quarterback and get him to the ground as quick as possible.
Yeah,
he's got to do that any way he can.
Yeah,
and wrapping a man and taking him to the floor is a tackle.
I agree, completely agree. Well, from this year onwards, it will be a 15-yard penalty for a hip drop tackle.
Oh, that is a big loss of yards.
Well, it's an automatic first down.
Sorry, was it first down? Yeah.
Yeah, automatic first down, regardless of where it is, other than obviously if it's 2nd and 20 or something. But you're talking a kind of a big deal there. If because how hard is it as well for these guys that have played defense for maybe 7 or 8 years in the league? All of a sudden they can't do the thing that they've been doing for all this time. You know?
It's a big adjustment because obviously they started bringing in a couple of years ago. He was trying to get that rugby form kind of tackling, getting your head to the side, so we weren't getting as many concussions.
Yeah.
So that was like another big change, and eventually it took a while, but it's adapted now a little bit better. I'd say there's a lot more grabbing around the waist and taking to the floor than there is trying to go head-on collision.
Yeah.
So I think it'll take a while, and I think it's going to have to be one of those that's going to have to be monitored where they can't. It's sometimes it's not helped if a D end is coming off of a tackle to make a play and manages to grab hold of a quarterback and gets pushed. Can you really blame him?
Well, that, and how do you judge what's a hip drop
Yeah.
and what isn't? Like, where's the line?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season to see how many of those are given and how many aren't.
You're gonna see an increase in them videos on YouTube where it's like top 20 bad calls of the official and like things like that. It's gonna be really interesting to see how often teams really get stitched up by something like that, because like you said, sometimes it can't be helped.
No.
But the law's the law, and they're gonna call it, and I can't help but think they're gonna call it every time that they think it might be, rather than go, oh, it might not be, we'll not call that. I think if there's a chance, they're calling it.
It's going to be one of those, the flag's going to go, they're going to have to discuss it, and I think it's going to be one of those where, if you've seen it in real time and you think you've seen it, they're not going to change their mind, are they?
No. I'm not sure it's reviewable anyways, to be honest. I don't think it is. The second major rule change this year is obviously the kickoff. Everyone's heard a lot about the kickoff.
Yeah, this is one that I am excited for.
Did you watch the Hall of Fame game last week?
I watched some of the highlights before it got called off for the rain.
So I stayed up because I've been gagging for football for a long time. So I stayed up and watched it, obviously, until it got called off. And I've never seen such a big deal made out of a kickoff in a pre-season game in my life.
Isn't it?
Everyone was hyping this thing up, man, and I was sat there and I was giddy. I was like, oh, what's going to happen here? Is he just going to be ran back for a touchdown, or because no one knew what to expect?
Right.
So basically, what happens is, and I've got the exact rules written down.
Word for word.
Yep. So the kickoff is from the 35-yard line, right? The other 10 players on the kickoff team are lined up on the opposing 40-yard line.
Right.
The return team must have at least 9 blockers on the 35-yard line, so they're 5 yards away from the opposing team.
Yeah.
They must stay there until the ball is touched or downed. So basically until the returner grabs the ball or until it hits the ground. After that, it's a free-for-all. We did see a few penalties, actually, in that Hall of Fame game where guys were leaving the line before the ball had been touched. It was like 2 or 3, I think, which it's going to happen. It's a new rule, and it's going to take a little bit of a while to adapt to. There can be up to 2 runners. They must be within the 20-yard line and the end zone. No further out, no further in. And they have to run it out. If it's in the end zone and it's a touchback, they automatically come out to the 30-yard line. What's this going to do for kickoffs, do you think?
Oh, I think it's going to make it a bit more exciting because obviously there was the fair catch. You start on your 25.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
More often than not, you're just seeing the hand up.
Yeah.
And no, we'll take it
and
out.
that sort of took it away because you look back to even the early 2000s and even in the 2010s with Cordell Patterson, you just love to see a guy catch that ball and just run the length of the field following his blocks, picking gaps, making men miss. And obviously the last couple of years, people have been like, well, there's no benefit. There's no.
Well, they just kick it in the back of the
Yeah.
end zone and then it comes
Yeah.
out to the 25, don't they? That's just the way it is.
I think it was very rare. I remember a good kickoff. I mean, Turpin had a few for the Cowboys, but even then it was.
We had 2 in one game against the Bills.
Yeah.
Against us, like we had. It was the game after the Damar Hamlin thing. So they were all obviously pumped up anyways. Two in one game against us. It was awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, you rarely see it. You very rarely see it now.
It's one of those, you want to see those people like Devin Hester, Josh Cribbs. You want to see those kind of people who get that ball and just their job is to.
Well, it's a career for them guys, isn't it? Like
it is.
their whole job is they might come into the league as a wide receiver or a running back or whatever, cornerback, but they're not going to see the field other than on special teams. So it kind of gives them guys a shot at.
Yeah, it
really
it basically entitles like a whole new position into football now.
Well, it's interesting as well because a lot of the guys that are, blocking or like gunning, these are guys that probably wouldn't have on special teams in years years before, because they're so close and personal. You need some bigger guys in there.
Yep.
So it's going to be really interesting to see how many linemen get out there, linebackers. We don't know though. Like anyone could be out there.
Well, that's it now. Like, and if you think about it now, if they're starting on that 35 and they're not allowed to move until someone's touched the ball, you can imagine how many trick plays, how many swap overs. You could easily just pitch the ball backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
You could all run back. It'll be interesting to see who takes advantage of some of the new rules. Like,
well, from what
you've gathered, yeah.
From what I've gathered, is the special teams coordinators all over the league phoning each other. Have you managed to come up with anything for this, or what are you doing for this? And apparently they're all in it together and trying to work out, what's the best way of attacking this thing.
It. Like I said, it's always been offense and defense. The special team was just kick the ball, tackle the man.
Yeah, you're there because you have to.
Now it's essentially a whole new team.
Yeah, exactly. You could win games on things like
100%.
that. We've got teams talking about putting running backs in there, power backs.
Yeah, it's going to be.
But it's how you attack it.
Yeah.
Maybe you put bigger guys up front and use it just as a running player. Create the gaps. Maybe you put slightly smaller guys in there, put a nippier guy at the back and run it with a nippier guy. But it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with that one.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it.
Really quickly, the last on the news, unless you want to talk about something, Brandon, we've had a few injuries this week. I've only looked at this week because we started researching this week.
Yeah, we have.
I'm going from this week. So, notable injuries this week. Colts wide receiver Josh Downs went down.
Oh.
So, high ankle sprain. It's going to be about a month. So, not too bad. I mean, they've got Adonai Mitchell in now. They've got Pittman on the X.
They've still got Alec Pierce as well.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world for those guys, but he'll be back after about a month, which is quicker than Mac Jones was with his.
That's true.
He was crying about it, to be fair. Rondale Moore for the Falcons, he's gone down. He was carted off with an inflatable cast on his leg, so it doesn't look good for him at all, unfortunately.
And then if you look at that Falcons team as well, like they've...
Well, we were just talking about this before we started recording, weren't we? The team that they've got now, they've got a quarterback in there. They've got some weapons on there. They're going to look like a different team than what they did last year.
Completely. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's going to be good to see them because they've got all these athletes.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunate for them, unfortunate for him. But again, these things happen.
Yeah, it's football.
We talked about him before. CMC, he went down, but he's just a calf strain.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks. Probably not that, but they'll just take him to the regular season.
Well, let's just hope so, because it might not be the Madden curse coming back here.
Who had him on our fantasy? Oh, he's on the Madden cover as well, isn't he?
On the Madden cover, the Madden curse.
Well, this is interesting what we were talking about as well before, because if you don't have your running game in McCaffrey anymore, I know you've still got Debo there. Where does AIYUK fit into that? I mean, it is just a calf strain from what I believe, but all it takes is 1 week. He takes a hit.
Yep.
You've seen it last year. Have you watched Receiver on Netflix yet?
Yep.
So when Debo went out and they lost 4 games on the bounce, take one of those guys out and they fell to bits.
Yeah.
Is it going to happen if they take AIYUK out? Who knows?
That's it.
And finally, the Titans wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins, knee injury, which is a big one.
That is a big one.
That is a big one for them. 4 to 6 weeks. So he's going to miss at least the first couple of weeks of the season.
Well, it's a good thing we've just gone out and got Tyler Boyd and Calvin Ridley then.
Well, this is true. Yeah, this is true. I'm quite pleased with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Not the injury. I'm talking about fantasy football. Yeah, I don't want to see guys go down and get injured. But I'm talking as a fantasy football guy.
Someone picks up Calvin Ridley very late.
Yeah. So I'm quite pleased that he might get a little bit more time.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of injuries, that's kind of all we've got going on. You got any news that you want to bring to us,
I got
B-Dog?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head now because there's not much really. There's not much news at all really. I mean, a lot of stuff like Kev said. When it comes to the Pats, that's his stuff. So when it comes to the Cowboys, that's my basic.
One thing I will say to you about the Cowboys and the Pats, which is really interesting, right? Because obviously CD's not any closer to signing a deal.
Yeah.
And we've just came out of AIYUK. What's the odds? Because I've not heard anything about it. I'm not trying to stir anything up either. I've not heard any trade talks or anyone interested in him. But as a guy that follows the Cowboys closely, is it looking more likely that he might get traded, or is it one of them things where they're going to end up coming to something?
I think they're going to end up coming to something. I think it's because it's all up in the air now. Because there's Dykes, CD, and Parsons, and you're all looking at who's going to get paid first. Obviously, CD wanted to be the highest paid wide receiver, and then it was between him and Jefferson. They were waiting to see who was going to draw the first blood, and obviously then the Vikings went inside Jefferson. So now we've got to come to an agreement with CDs.
I mean, I think that's fair, isn't it? I mean, on CD's part, is easily one of the better receivers in the league.
Oh, easily.
Without even a dispute. Yeah, I was just interested to see if you've heard anything that was
no, I've not
potentially exciting for me, but yeah.
No, I've not heard anything, thankfully.
You can't not sign a guy like that, especially the off-season you've had when he's had such of a big hype up from your senile owner that you were going to do all these things and then didn't do any of them.
Yep, going all in.
Yeah, and you didn't go all in. This is what you need to go all in on. You need to go all in on this.
Yeah, I think we will end up doing, because you can't look at a guy like the numbers CD put up last year and just how dominant he was and not pay him.
No, and this is what we said before. Yous are a team that you're gonna throw the ball rather than run it first.
Yeah,
you know you're gonna throw it first. You got Zeke back, of course.
We have got Zeke back. I'm very excited about that. I was a big Ezekiel Elliott fan.
I liked him last year. You know, I liked him first last year.
Well, that's it. Yeah, we both got nice things to say about Zeke.
Yeah. Do you know, it's not. I'm not gonna say he's not thought of well, because he is. The majority of Patriots fans thought he'd done a good job last year.
Yeah.
For the amount of snaps that he was involved in. He was good. I'm sure did he have the most receptions for us last year?
I think he did.
I think he had the most receptions for us, which doesn't say a lot.
Well,
but he gave us something different to Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah.
Because this guy's just gonna run over people. The amount of times I'm nearly crying because he just runs into his own man at the line of scrimmage. But he's a power guy, where Zeke's he's not a small guy, but he's kind of more agile and elusive. I liked him last year. I really liked him.
He was like the complete back. Obviously, when we picked him up in those first couple of years, we had him, out the backfield catching, running between the tackles. You looked at him on the field, and he didn't look quick, but no one could catch him.
No.
So I still remember the Steelers game where it was I think it was under 30 seconds left on the clock, and he just went straight through the middle, through the air gap.
But you've seen it a million times from him, especially earlier on in his Cowboys career. He was insane, wasn't he? He was kind of like the guy at running back. You talk about like your Henrys and like Saquons and guys like that. He was well in that conversation. He was one of the best backs in the league by a mile.
He was, and I'm so glad that he changed his number to 15 after I had so now I have to go rebuy a Ezekiel Elliott jersey. I can't reuse my 21 from a couple of years ago.
Was it not you that's got a Zeke college jersey?
No, that's Dom.
Oh, Dom's got a Zeke college jersey.
Dom's got his Ohio State jersey. I know. I've got the colourway Zeke from a couple of years ago.
Right, okay, fair enough.
I was thinking maybe I could just flip the numbers around and try and get a 15 from it, but it doesn't quite work.
Just do the thing that all the Pats fans are doing and tape the Jones off the back of your thing and just put May on there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. Right, one thing before we move on to anything else, and I forgot to say this when we're doing news. It's not really news, but it's something that's worth note. The guys that are eligible for the Hall of Fame for the first time this year.
Oh yeah, there are some
so
big names.
I'm gonna read you the guys out.
Go on.
I want to tell you what. I'm going to ask you.
Tell me. Ooh.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to ask you what the chances are that they make the Hall of Fame this year.
Ooh, okay.
All right. So it's not they're going to be in the Hall of Fame. It's kind of first year eligible guys, Hall of Fame. All right. First one's interesting. Right, Eli Manning.
See, Eli, one of the only. Is he the only player to beat Tom Brady in a Super Bowl?
No, Nick Foles.
Oh, yep, sorry, yep, Nick Foles did, yep.
Yep,
What
Nick
a-
Foles.
what a years that
the
was.
Philly special.
But to beat Brady twice, I mean, obviously you've got the helmet catch. I mean, you can't. I mean, obviously his name's going to be up there because he's a Manning. You know.
This is what I was having this conversation with Si
Mm.
before we came on here, and he was on about the big. He'll be split down the middle. A lot of people say he is. A lot of people say he isn't. And regardless of the 2 Super Bowls he won, his career wasn't amazing. But that being said, he won 2 Super Bowls against the best of all time.
That's true.
Is
That's
that
true.
enough to make you go, well, do you know what, he should be in the Hall of Fame?
I mean, his yards as well. His passing yards. I mean, if you look at him, he's not. I mean, he had Victor Cruz early on. He's had OBJ. He had Jeremy Shockey, and then at running backs, you know, he's never had anything really. He had Brandon Jacobs for a little bit. That's 6'4" running back.
Did you know the most yards passing in one postseason is held by Eli Manning?
I did not know that.
That's crazy, isn't it?
That is.
I was shocked by that.
I think right now, I don't think he makes it first year.
I don't either.
I don't think he makes it first year.
I think when he makes it, because I do think that he's going to
Yeah,
make it,
yeah.
it's going to be because of who we beat in the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
and as much as I don't like to say it, it's his surname, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think if you had another guy that had the exact same statistics as he did, beat any other just team's quarterback in the Super
Yeah.
Bowls, I think we'll be disputing it more. To be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. Next up, Terrell Suggs.
Oh, T-Sizzle. He was dominant. He was dominant in that Ravens team. Like,
Yeah, well,
oh, I think he did. Did he win the Super Bowl?
I think so.
I think he was there when they won the Super Bowl, wasn't he? Yeah. I think.
I mean, we might be wrong. I'm fairly sure he did. But I'm not even fairly
Yeah.
sure. I think he did.
Because what year was that? That was 20. Was it 20?
Was it the lights out game?
Yes, it was. Because Jacoby Jones, he caught the pass that was deep over the 49ers. Yeah, I think he. Oh God, this is really tough. This one.
The next one's a bit easier, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I'm saying I don't think he makes it this year.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. I don't know. I was leaving that one to you.
Yeah,
I was leaving that one to you.
I mean, he was unbelievable, but I just think there's a few people who still need to be in the Hall of Fame ahead of him yet.
That's fair. That is completely fair. Next up, Beast Mode. Marshawn
Oh,
Lynch.
I think
It's not easier because he'll get in this year, but he's going to the Hall of Fame.
yeah, he's going to the Hall of Fame. You can't have a running back that played the way he did.
He was
so
crazy.
You know, the amount of blocks, shed tackles, should I say, that he had. Some of even his beastquake runs against the Saints. You just, like I've said, I think he's going to make it, but I think it's another. He doesn't make it this year.
That's fair. I think that's fair. I think he makes it 1,000,000%.
Yeah,
Good.
he's going to make it.
When he was kind of Legion of Boom Seahawks team, that's the defense, but it was that era of the
Yeah.
Seahawks team. We kind of came across them, the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
regular season games,
Yeah.
things like that, and that man destroyed us when we played them.
Yeah.
Even the Super Bowl, the Malcolm Butler Super Bowl, when Russ threw the ball from the 1 yard line for some reason, we're all sat watching that going, oh, like they've got Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. We've got no chance here. And there we go. They throw the ball for whatever reason, and the rest is history. But yeah, you talk about running backs that are dominant and completely change how you defend a game.
Oh yeah,
That he's one of them guys.
Massively.
Earl Thomas.
I think Earl Thomas is going to make it.
Do you?
I think Earl Thomas is going to make it. I think, like you said, Legion of Boom again, for a guy who a lot of people underestimated at 5'10", didn't look that big, but he played like he was 6'5". He was not afraid of a tackle. He was fantastic at finding that ball in the air. I think he makes it. I think I think if you get any member of Legion of Boom, I think Earl Thomas has to make it for me.
Fair enough. Aqib Talib. Now, let me tell you, this is a guy that I hated. I hated this guy.
No fly zone.
Oh man,
him and Chris Harris.
When the Pats played the Broncos in the playoffs, that guy just wound me up because it was a few times. That guy, I hated him.
Yep.
I absolutely hated him.
I
But that
loved
was
him.
his job. That was his job.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
we talked about before about wide receiving DBs.
Oh yeah.
When you talk about DBs talking crap, that guy, he was up there, man. But like you said, no fly zone.
Yeah. Well, like you said, like we were talking about earlier, like your cornerbacks and your wide receivers. A lot of people call them divas, but if you think you're the best, you're going to play like the best, and you need people on that team who are not afraid to go.
This guy was one of them, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. I think he doesn't make it though. I think he doesn't make it this year. I think he'll go in. But I think
Was it one Super Bowl?
one Super Bowl against
Seahawks.
was it against the Seahawks when they won?
No, was it?
I don't think it was. I think the Seahawks won that year, didn't they? It was. Oh goodness me, I can't remember off the top of my head now. But I think they have won a Super Bowl because it's when they had the sheriff at QB.
We'll talk about him later.
Yep. But
Maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, I think he doesn't make it this year. But I think when you look back over the last decade or so, and you think about cornerbacks and stuff like that, there's a lot of names that pop up. But I think Aqib Talib has to go in.
Fair enough. Oh, this one's one of my guys.
Oh.
Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah, he's going in.
Yep.
I think he has to go in Hall of Fame.
Yep, fair enough.
Top points of all time. Top points, most points scored by a single player in NFL history.
Won the Patriots the first Super Bowl.
Yeah, how many rings did he have to his name?
I think he won 3 with us.
3 with you, yeah. So
I think I might be wrong. I think it was 3.
when you think about a kicker that was dominant, yeah, I think he has to go in.
Yeah, I agree.
think he has to.
Longevity as well.
Yeah,
But, I mean, the
100%.
guy's just dropped out of the league the last year or two, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was 42, 43 when he left.
Crazy. I mean, kicker, yes, but crazy
Oh, but
longevity.
it's still you still get hit. You're still kicking
man.
a football a couple of times a game. If you
Yeah,
do
man.
that and you're still training that leg, you know what I mean. I'm surprised he didn't have a limp when he left.
Yeah, man. I've got to agree. I don't know if it's my heart or my head, but I've got to agree with you.
He's going, yeah.
Oh, another guy I really like, Luke Kuechly.
Yeah, I think Kuechly. I mean, he retired early, but the time he was in the league, I think there's a lot of players that don't do that in a decade. What he did in those 5-6 years.
Yeah, I completely agree.
He was the perfect quarterback for your defense. He studied film. He knew how to get to a tackle. He was fantastic in the air for a linebacker.
Did you watch their Hard Knocks?
I didn't know.
He was fantastic on it. He was genuinely brilliant. All them things you said, just hammering film, hammering guys in practice.
Yeah,
he
was
fantastic.
He was
trained as he played.
Yep.
And played hard.
Yeah.
One of them guys.
Yeah, 100%. I really did like Luke Kuechly. He was just phenomenal. It was terrible to go against, but you just watch it from an outside perspective. He was freaking unbelievable.
Yeah. This year?
Yeah, I think this year. I think, like I said, although he didn't have a long career, I think he's got to go in first year. I think when you just look at what he did for that Panthers team, when they had Cam Newton on the offense and it was Luke Kuechly on the defense, I think he has to go in.
All right, fair enough. Marshall Yanda. This is the last one. The last of the first time eligible. Well, not the last ones, but the notable ones.
Again, I think this is another. It makes it in, but I don't know if it's going to be this year.
Yeah.
I think he definitely makes it in, though.
I mean, there's only so many spots, isn't there?
Yeah.
And you've got guys that have been eligible for
years and years. Yeah, I think Yonder will get in. I just don't think it'll be this year.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, B-Dog. We're going to get into some quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is, week on week, we're going to come up with a new position, this week's quarterback. We're going to come up with the 5 best all-time, or favourites, as you've got favourites.
I do have my favourites, yeah.
And currently.
Currently, yeah.
So you've got favourites for currently and all-time.
Yep.
Well, I've got best. So what we're going to do is do that for the positions.
Yep.
Hopefully over the course of the season, we'll
We'll
come
have-
to a dream team.
Yep.
So that's the idea.
That'll be good.
So I think from this week on, I'll maybe chuck some more guys in that I like more than are just the best ones. But I'll go first because
Go on,
I've
you
probably
go
got
first.
the more predictable ones.
Yeah.
If mine are best ones.
Yeah.
So
Go on then. Who's your number 5 of all time?
5 all time. I nearly read the wrong list, and it is not a top 5 quarterback all time. Right. So all time. Right. If we're going from 5 to 4, disclaimer: these guys are from before I watched football.
Right.
So all I've done is hammered film for the last week or so on guys that I've heard are the best,
Right.
and then just went with what I've thought.
What you've heard, right? Okay.
Right. So 5th, I've got Dan Marino.
Yeah.
Right. So reason that I've split Dan Marino between 5th and not 4th. I mean, you'll probably guess who's 4th, but won Super Bowl. You know, yes, the unbeaten season. I think that was him, wasn't it?
Dan Marino's never won a Super Bowl.
Has he?
No. He's the only quarterback.
I thought he's got one.
No, he hasn't won
Oh,
a Super
cut
Bowl.
that then. I'm sure he's won one. If he's won one, we're keeping it in.
Yeah, the best quarterback to never win a Super Bowl.
Oh, well, never mind then.
We've got to keep this in. We've got to keep this in.
Yeah, we'll keep it in. I thought it was one. It was before I watched football. All right, okay. Yeah, so it kind of reinstates my point.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I had him 5th when I thought he'd won one. He did have the unbeaten season though.
He
That's
did.
him, wasn't it?
He
Yes. I don't waste my time with Dolphins.
No, he didn't have the unbeaten season.
I don't. Did you not?
No, that was before Dan Marino as well. That was when they still had Larry Zonga in the
No,
backfield.
he's maybe like 6th or 7th or something.
He's moving downfield.
I'm glad I put a disclaimer before and said that these guys are before my time. 'Cause
Yeah.
I only know. I mean, I know a lot about the Patriots from when I started watching football, and I know a bit about the league.
Yeah.
But I kind of don't have the knowledge you have,
Yeah.
which is why you're the perfect partner for this. But yeah, we'll go number 4.
Go on, number 4. This will be interesting.
Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, from what I watched, and again, you probably guessed now, but I've only gone and watched guys that I've heard of
Yeah.
recently. I've never really been interested in. I mean, I've watched like a Football Life, them documentaries, them kind of things. I've seen them.
Yeah.
But I've gone back this week and kind of watched guys, and Montana for me I just preferred him as a quarterback.
Yeah, Joe Cool was before Burrow. Joe Montana was Mr. Cool. I still remember that pass to Dwight Clark against the Cowboys. Even I wasn't allowed to see that in person, but I know about it.
What number was Dwight Clark?
87.
Clark 87.
Yep.
Damn. Some crazy receivers with Clark 87 there. Yeah,
There's
no.
a few.
Again, I'm fairly sure this is right. He won 4 Super Bowls.
I believe he did win 4 Super Bowls.
Yes, he won 4 Super Bowls. And for that reason, because, again, I didn't know for certain which of the two guys, he won more Super Bowls. 3, I don't know if this is controversial or not. I put Mahomes in there.
Ooh, that is
I think if you talk about, and there's going to be people going,
all time.
is he nuts? Yeah. Yeah. If you talk about quarterbacks that change the game,
Yeah, I can
change
see
how
that.
the game's played, this is a guy that isn't you just stand there in the pocket and read the defense and throw the ball.
Yeah,
This is a guy that's changed how we think of quarterbacks now,
yeah,
probably going forward.
yeah.
You see guys in the league now coming in, Anthony Richardsons and people like that are going to move around more.
Yeah.
Daniels that have just been drafted to the Commanders.
Yeah.
These are guys that they're not just going to stand there and throw it. Drake May, to some extent.
Yeah.
They're not just going to stand there and throw the ball. And I think this is how we have to look at quarterbacks now. Lamar's a mint example of it, but he doesn't have the same arm as Mahomes personally. I think Mahomes is clear by a mile.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. Yeah. I think he still needs, obviously his record is, what is it now, 3 Super Bowls in such 5-6 years, something like that. I think it's like you're looking at, like you said, Brady numbers. You're looking at stuff like that.
Brady? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Of course, I'm
Could you
joking.
imagine if you forgot? Oh my god. But no, yeah, like the numbers he's putting up are ridiculous. Like I think I give it 2 more years. If he wins one more, then I would agree with you.
I mean, so we're to my number 3, and without saying, you're probably going to assume who my first 2 are. Who would you have then instead of Mahomes?
I think if I had to go all time at number 3,
Actually, no. We'll wait till your list. Is
Yeah.
he in your list? Never mind. We'll wait till your list. Right, 2. Peyton.
yeah, the sheriff.
Yeah, I've got Peyton in there.
Yeah.
Again, this is guys that I've watched and
Mm.
seen week on week. Mahomes kind of falls into that category,
Yeah.
but I genuinely believe that he's probably going to win another 1 or 2 at least,
Yeah.
which sucks for me because I want Brady to hold the record forever. I think he's going to push it close.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah, Peyton, you talk about guys that just stand there in the pocket and throw the ball. The way he manipulates a defense
Yeah.
by how he looks, the way he sets up his guys, the way he reads the defense. That guy, before the ball had even been snapped, knew what he was doing
Yeah.
and knew it was a completion 9 times out of 10. That
Yeah.
guy was insane. I don't know if you ever seen him breaking down plays on like the Manning cast or
Aye.
anything. That guy is incredible. Like
That man lived football.
yeah,
He knew what he was doing every time he stepped onto that field.
and you talk about Super Bowls, 2 I think.
2 Super Bowls, one with the Colts,
one with the
the
Broncos.
Broncos. Yep.
So it's not the only, measure.
Yep.
But for me, I couldn't have a top 5 without him in
yeah,
there.
yeah. I get that.
And number 1 will shock you.
Oh no, I wonder who this could be.
It's got to be Tom Brady,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, I think as much as people hate on Tom Brady, you can't deny 7 Super Bowls.
No,
You
No.
can't.
That's it. He went to a different team and still won one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he did take Gronkowski with him, almost Julian Edelman, but
But this is it though. For a guy that was 199 in the draft,
yeah. Well, it just goes to show it doesn't matter where you get picked. It's all about how you play.
you talk about reading defenses and manipulating the other team and manipulating your own team to play against it.
Yeah.
He made a career off it, man.
He did. He can't. The longevity as well when you look at it.
Insane.
Again,
Absolutely
that's
insane.
for a quarterback to last that long. You don't get that with every QB.
He's had 3 Hall of Fame careers, eh?
Yep.
Like 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Yeah.
They're all arguably Hall of Fame careers in their own right. It's
Yeah.
insane.
It's going to be a shock when he doesn't go in first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah. In a few years' time, we'll have him on the list and
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see what we think.
We'll see what we think. No.
It's, in news that you might not know, is this season just had his jersey retired
Oh, I did
from
not
the
know
Patriots. Yeah, he's had 12 retired, and he's getting a statue outside
that.
the stadium, which is it's probably fair. He's
Well,
he's
yeah, you
also
can't argue
been
that, can you?
inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame, but yeah, I mean that's one of the biggest honours I think you can
Oh,
get
yeah.
at one team.
Yeah,
And
100%.
it's completely warranted in my opinion, because I've said this for a long time. Other than Moss as like a wide out, he's never really had like a stud,
He's never had anyone out wide. Yeah, I mean, he's always had he had Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, Gronk across the middle. He had all these nice short guys that he knew was going to get the ball
Yeah.
most of the time. But
Amendola,
Amendola,
Logan,
yeah,
them guys.
yeah, but he never really had a wide out.
No.
Even when he had was it Dion Branch?
Yeah.
Again, that's another one. He never had these big, tall, physical wide receivers. He had these little guys underneath, and he just knew how to chunk yardage.
Because we've been doing this for years now. This is why I said earlier we've never
Yeah.
played attractive football, because we've always been most of the time just a little 10-yard team.
Yeah.
We'll just drive the ball down the field. I
Mhm.
mean, there's players, and you'll see a million of them of us chucking the ball down the field, but generally our players aren't called to do that.
Yeah.
That's never really what we've been about. So
Aye.
the passing yards that he's got, I mean, yes, the longevity helps that, but he's never really been a stud wide receiver, bomb the ball downfield kind of guy.
No.
And, and he's got the numbers he's got, and that's why he's number one on my list.
That's true. That's true.
You knock yourself out with your favourites all
My
time.
favourites all time. So I went a bit different here this time. I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. So I've got 5. Right. I am split between 2 people here. And like I said, these are my favourites. Not who I
Is
think
this
are the
number
greatest.
5?
This is number 5. And I've got 2 people I can't split between, and this will shock you here. So I've got Manning,
Which?
Peyton.
Which? Fair enough, yeah.
I've got between Peyton Manning and Kurt Warner.
Oh, okay. See, I mean, we've covered Peyton, all the obvious reasons. Although it's strange why he's on your favourites, but Kurt Warner, if you look at the story of Kurt Warner, how he
Yeah.
got into the league and then what he done once he was there, it's hard not to root for the guy.
No.
It's kind of like the Goff thing,
Yeah.
whereas didn't really get the chance, got the chance and grabbed it with both hands,
Well,
isn't
that's
it?
it. And late to come into the league. Won 1 Super Bowl with the Rams, and even when he was at the Cardinals, I remember one big thing that stuck out was when he broke his elbow and didn't really stop him that much. You know, he was handing off the ball a lot. He did his
Yeah.
elbow in, and he was still on the field
It's
playing.
that will to play.
will to play that I love to see. Like just, and even you watch him, he was like the perfect pocket passer.
Yeah, that's fair, completely
And
fair.
I do love that.
Number 4.
Well, number 4, John Elway.
Oh, right, okay.
John Elway, I did love John Elway. Just
So this is in the realm of the guys that are before my time, and I don't really know.
No. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
these are before your time. Because this is all time. These are people that I've studied and looked at and looked back at film and stuff like that. Because I just like the position of quarterback. You know, those are the guys that get the ball, they make the plays, and the camera's always on them. But yeah, John Elway, just his ability, his fight, obviously the helicopter tackle.
All right, okay.
I don't know if you know that one.
I'm familiar with the helicopter
Yeah,
tackle.
the helicopter tackle that will, just the way he could rifle a ball in, you know, and again, I wouldn't say he didn't have the greatest weapons. I mean, he had Rod Smith, he had Shannon Sharp, he had all these guys, but yeah, just Elway, I just love watching Elway play.
Well, fair enough, man.
I just really like watching Elway.
Fair enough.
Number 3, you might not even have heard of this guy, Fran Tarkenton.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, this is way before your time. So Fran Tarkenton played for the Vikings in, I think it would have been maybe the late 60s, early 70s.
Right, so I'm a guy that doesn't know who this is. What was watching him like? How did he play?
He played exactly like, and I feel funny saying it, Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
He would scramble around that backfield.
Right, okay.
He would make men miss. He'd go for yards, and he could throw a ball. Like, I don't think many people really, obviously, when you look at him, but even after this, if you go and have a quick watch a bit of Fran Tarkenton, it was just the way he was. He could just make people miss in the backfield, set his feet, hit a ball, and hit his receiver.
right, okay.
I really like watching some of the footage from Fran Tarkenton. Like, I'm going number 2, and this is Warren Moon.
Okay.
I really like Warren Moon as well. Yeah, but I told you, like, I like.
It's left field, okay.
Yeah, completely. Warren Moon, like, when he was at the Titans, when he was at the Vikings, I just really liked, you know, again, a bit like Elway, the way he could get a ball in there quick and fizz it, but I also loved his, like, capacity to battle. I just really liked Warren Moon a lot. It's just a fun name to say as well, Moon.
You can't argue with that. It's your list, man.
Yeah,
And
no,
whatever makes them favourites makes them favourites.
I really do like Warren Moon. Like, he was never the fastest, but my God, because he threw a ball. And then number 1, Dan Marino. I think he was so unlucky not to win a Super Bowl.
He was so unlucky to only have 1 Super Bowl, wasn't he? He was so unlucky. He's crazy.
I know, it's mental. He hasn't got a ring, or it's not recorded or anything, but he's got a Super Bowl somewhere in everyone's hearts.
So why Dan Marino then? Why not Joe? Is that the 2 guys that I was?
Yeah, I think Dan Marino for me he was just perfect. Like I've talked about Warner being a perfect pocket passer, but Dan Marino, like, he just took it to a new level. You know, like, just some of the way he could just get a ball, quickly pop it out at full force for slants, for like Mark Clayton and the sorts. Like, I just watching, you never got bored watching Dan Marino play.
Fair enough.
You
man.
never got bored. Every play was exciting.
And Joe Montana wasn't in Ace Ventura, was he?
That's true. That's true. That's a big one. You know,
Yeah.
you can't argue with that. You cannot argue with that. That's the reason I didn't want to bring up.
Yeah. I mean, it's valid, man. It's valid.
It is very valid.
But currently, so again, I'm going to go with
You'll
who
go
I
with-
think are the best ones.
Go on.
Now, you'll be relieved to know that I know all the ones currently.
Oh, that's always
I
a good
know the
start.
quarterbacks currently. What I struggle with was who was the fifth best. Because I think the first four probably write themselves, in my opinion. I just wrote them down without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And the fifth one was between probably 3-4 guys. I mentioned Goff earlier. He could have
Yeah.
easily been in there. He isn't, but he could easily have been in
Aye.
there. I went with Justin Herbert.
Ooh, I do like Herbert.
Again, he didn't have a great year last year.
Mm.
He's arguably not going to have a great year this year because they're going to run the ball.
Yeah.
But if you talk about kind of parts of a game that you need to have in your quarterback, I believe that he's got all of them.
Oh yeah.
His pocket presence is great. He's good at getting out the pocket, scrambling, extending plays. I genuinely believe that if the right things were around him, he'd be up there with the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
I genuinely do think that he's the fifth best quarterback.
Yeah.
That being said, I think it's a drop off between the top four and then the conversation for fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I put him in there over you guys like your Goffs and Strouds and Loves and stuff like that.
Wow.
Number four, I put Josh Allen,
Josh Allen at 4.
which pains me because they're in our division.
Yep.
But it's the same thing again. You're talking about a 6'5", 240 odd pound monster.
Yep.
Gets the ball zipped out. I mean, he's not the most careful with the ball.
Yeah.
He's going to throw a pick, but I think what he does on the ground and by forcing the ball down the field, you get away with that.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe you
Yeah.
get away with that, and I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think it's long until they take themselves to a Super Bowl.
Finally win one.
Yeah, and they'll get there. They'll get there.
They haven't won one yet, just to let you know.
They've won one, haven't they?
No, 4 years.
Didn't they go 4 years,
4 years in a
making
row.
the Super Bowl and not win a one?
Yep, they did.
The chumps.
Sorry, Bills fans. You can tell he's a Pats fan. Eh?
yeah. I've been completely down the line here, man. But yeah, Allen's fourth there. But that's where the drop off for me is.
Yeah.
In between Allen and Herbert. I think Allen's a much better quarterback than Herbert is. Third, I've put Lamar, which a lot of people would say second probably. For me, I think third, purely because we spoke about it before. Being mobile with your legs, he's probably the best at it.
Oh yeah.
But I just think there's too often that he's in between running with it and throwing, and he throws an inaccurate ball by being that mobile guy. I think there's too often that you go, this is a guy that's competing for playoffs every year.
Yeah.
And sometimes he throws the ball and you're like, how? But equally, sometimes you go, that was nuts.
Yep. You do.
That was nuts. He's three for me. A lot of people will put him two, which fine, I get that. For me, Joe Burrow's better than him.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I wonder who's 2.
Joe Burrow's two. Joe Burrow's two.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's two. Again, you said before about Joe Montana being the original.
Joe Cool.
Yeah. Joe Shiesty, man. I just love him. I don't know if this is a little bit of the your thing coming in where I like him more, so like I've put him 2.
Yeah.
I do believe that he's 2 or 3, and I've put him at 2 purely because I think I love him. I absolutely love him, man. I think his ability to drive the ball down the field, long or short, he's probably got one of the most accurate arms in the league. He's one of them guys that'll stand there and throw it.
Yeah.
He's not going to do the thing like Lamar or spoiler alert Mahomes. He's going to stand there. He's going to take a hit. I mean, that year that they got to the Super Bowl, I mean, I'm sure their O-line was like 31st or 32nd in the league or something. And he just got crushed all year and still got them there. For me, he's He's on a par with Lamar, and I like him more.
Yeah, there we
So,
go. Definitely not favouritism.
Yeah. Well, how else could you split it,
Yeah.
man?
No, yeah, I get that. I get
Yeah,
that.
he's got to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah, yep, that's true.
Number one, the Mahomes, isn't it?
Yeah, has to be.
There's not really anything to say about that. It's
No.
not like breaking news to anybody.
No.
Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, 100%.
One of the best of all time, in my opinion. So, there's not really much to say about that.
Yeah, just go watch him. That's it.
Yeah,
you know, if you haven't watched him, go watch him. You'll see what we're talking about. Obviously, everyone knows he is the best quarterback in the league.
You can't really argue. You show a guy or a girl or whoever a game of football for the first time, and Mahomes is the quarterback, they stay and watch another game.
Yeah.
And that's as simple as it is.
Mm.
You talk about Brady before, and he had that ability to come back from any situation in any amount of time.
Yeah.
30 seconds is too long to give Brady the ball. Mahomes is in this category.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
What was the one with the Bills? 13 seconds or something?
13 seconds they need to get to the field goal range.
Having him at quarterback makes the other team not want to score too soon.
Yeah.
Because that guy will get the ball down the field and he'll get it there.
Yeah.
But again, you don't really need to say any of this. He's just the best in the league at quarterback.
Yeah, you can't argue
Right,
with
come on
that.
then. Who's your favourite five currently?
Right, so 5, I've got Brock Purdy.
Okay, all right, okay.
You know, I mean, when you like we were talking about with AIYUK and everything earlier, when you look at the weapons around him, you can't not be successful. But to be Mr. Irrelevant,
Yeah.
to be picked Mr. Irrelevant, and then come into that position and start and absolutely ball out, you can't hate him. You know, he just looks like a nice guy. He's enjoying himself and he's playing football.
Yeah, that's the main thing for me. He does seem like a really top guy.
Yeah.
We said before about Receiver on Netflix. He's in that obviously because Debo and
Aye.
Kittler in it, and you see him a few times. And he just seems like a great guy. You think he might be kind of overshadowed by the guys around him, but nope. He takes charge. He controls that offense and he gets them there. You know,
He does.
Like you said, he's not amazing, but he does the things that you need to do in that offense.
Yeah. He's the perfect piece to fit there, like you said, and some of the balls he throws, most people look at them and just think, oh, that's underthrown or that's overthrown. But when you actually look back and look at it and you understand that he's underthrown that ball because the safety's above him and he needs to come down for it, it's stuff like that you look at, you don't really realise unless you're looking for it. I think Purdy is very good.
You think he's gonna get one of these kind of top QB guy deals once he's off his rookie contract?
Yeah, I think they can't not. I think for what he's brought, especially last year at the Super Bowl, like you can't not when someone's brought. Well, I mean, it's the hardest. People say it's the hardest position to play in football. It's quarterback.
I think wide receiver is, but
as a wide receiver, you say that. But no, I do think quarterback is the.
No, I agree
I
completely.
think it's you know what I mean. You've got to be, like I said, you've got to be the general, like the sheriff.
It's not a simple offense to be plugged into either.
It's not either. You know, like they said, Debo can come into the backfield. You've got McCaffrey on the outside. You can go outside in, start with the run straight up the middle. He's got to know every single thing that all these top guys are doing. He can't just. It's not like he's got one guy to throw to.
Yeah.
He's got his pick of the litter and he's got to make the right choice.
Yep, absolutely. Fair enough.
Yep.
Number 4.
For 4, I've gone Herbert.
Oh, okay.
I really, like we've said, I really like Herbert. I think his big frame, 6'6", just looks like he just looks comfortable in the pocket. You know, he's got a big arm on him, similar to Allen. But yeah, I just really like watching Herbert play again. When last year when he was throwing like Mike Williams, when he went out and he had Keenan Allen and Josh Palmer, people like that to throw to. He was still making the throws, he was standing in the pocket, he was taking the hits, and he was doing everything you need him to do.
This is what I was saying before when I picked him. It's interesting this year though because they're not going to throw the ball anywhere near as much as they were before. Either they've got Harbaugh in now.
Yeah,
he's known for wanting to run the ball. Michigan last year, he was just running the ball. We actually sat and watched the draft together.
We did, yeah.
And I'm sure you and Si said he's taking a receiver, and I said Joel, and he took Joel. That guy's going to run the ball again, isn't he? He's going to run it.
He needs to protect. He wants to run the ball, but he also needs to protect Herbert because, like you said, the last couple of years he's been taking quite a few hits. But yeah, I think it is going to be a very different game to watching San Diego. San Diego? Bloody hell, look at me, I sound old, mate, don't
in
I?
the past.
I am.
Yeah, no, I fear for him this year because I feel like last year, I mean, and Dylan will tell you,
Yeah.
the coaching staff was stitching them last year.
It was.
Oh, he was messaging me every week and calling for heads and stuff like that. But he didn't really have that chance last year, and I think like this year, yes, he's going to throw the ball, but I think he's very much just going to be McCarthy and Michigan's offense.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I think that's unfortunately what it's going to be. But it might make him.
It might do.
Who knows? Right, who have you got next?
Number 3, Shake and Bake. Baker Mayfield.
Oh, for God's sake. I was like, who the hell is Shake and Bake?
No, Shake and Bake. I love Baker Mayfield.
Being honest, if I'd done favourites, Baker would be in mine as well.
I love Baker Mayfield.
I agree with you, man.
I think the arrogance, just love the way he's just sort of vocal.
I
just
absolutely
but
love him.
even again, you look at him like when he was at the Browns, he was still in a bit, but you could just see he was struggling a little bit. But now he's at the Bucks. You know, he had a good year last year. He's got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin to throw to. He's got Kay Dorton. I think it's changed him at the Bucks. He really enjoys where he's playing, and I just love the in-your-face attitude.
I love it, man. I love it. I think when he first came into the league, the Browns, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they were destined to fail. You've seen it a million times
Yeah.
with quarterbacks,
Yeah.
the Browns. To the Panthers, again, there's not got Adam Thielen, I think, was their number one receiver.
I don't even think he had Adam Thielen when he was there. I think we had DJ Chark.
Oh, DJ. Oh, well, to be fair, I don't mind DJ
No,
Chark.
I do like DJ
But
Chark.
There weren't an offense that was ready to go.
No, not
you
at
know.
all.
He had, I think, a month or so in LA with the Rams.
Yep.
Had a really good off-season. Came in, first game, I think, took them to a come-from-behind win.
Yep, he did indeed.
Looked really good in an offense that was kind of a quarterback away from playing when Stafford went down.
Yep.
And like you said, he's went to the Bucks. He's got, you know, your Mike Evans is out there, and he's got an offense in front of him that he thinks, well, this is my team. And I'm the same as you. His personality, I really like him, man. Like the videos of him like headbutting his teammates without his helmet on, and like I love him, man. He's awesome. He's another guy that I really, really like.
Yeah, and I've done something like you did when you put Mahomes in your top 5 all time. I've done Stroud. I really like Stroud.
Okay, go on.
I just think, he's only had 1 year, and we've seen it before where some QBs have had one good year and then it's never carried on. But I think when you just watch him this year compared to if you've watched him when he was in college at Ohio, I just think he's come leaps and bounds, and just the way he can stand in the pocket when he needs to, move when he needs to, and some of the ball placement he has is next level.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really argue with that. I just don't particularly like him. Not like as a guy or anything. I don't know him, but I mean, I don't know. I'll give it this year. I think.
Aye.
I think he came in last year. I think what I can't get out my head is the Patriots played them in pre-season last year.
Yeah.
And I was a Bryce Young guy, right?
Yeah.
I like Alabama, and like I was a Bryce Young guy coming out of the draft last year, and I was like, he's miles better than Stroud. Like, what are they doing? And they played us in pre-season last year, and Stroud was horrific, like really, really bad. And I was like, they picked him. Like, I mean, his famous last words, because look at the season Young had and Stroud had. But I could never really get that on my head. So every time I watched them play last year, I was like, when's he gonna throw a pick? When's he gonna hold on to the ball too long? And he didn't. Look, I'm not saying that I'm right, because he was awesome last year. He was a rookie and one of the best players, period, last year. You know, I'm sure he got rookie of the year. Did he?
I think he did. Yeah. Defensive rookie of the year.
He was close to just being MVP. Period, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He was great last year. But again, like you've just said, how many guys come in, have an unreal year, and kind of can't live up to that. I mean, they're giving him every chance. They're putting everything around him. They're giving him every chance. But we'll wait and see. I'm excited to see what happens for him this year.
Yeah. We'll go on then. We'll see. Who do you think number 1 is?
So these are current quarterbacks
Yeah.
who you like. Is it Jacoby Brissett?
How the hell did you guess that?
Is it Drake Way?
No, it's not.
Is it Billy Zappi?
Nope.
Is it Joe Milton?
Sadly not, no.
Oh, damn right, okay. Kirk Cousins.
No.
Oh, Dak.
Nope. Josh Allen.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
but Dak did not make it onto my top 5, I think. As much as I love Dak Prescott, I think it's getting over that final hump in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, I love watching Dak. And obviously, last year it was unbelievable throwing the ball.
Yep.
But I think he just needs that little push to get over that last hump at the playoffs.
If this was best quarterbacks in the league on your list,
Mhm.
where would you be having Dak? Would you be having pushing the door at number 5? Would you have him in that same bracket as what I said, as just outside the top 4?
I think I'd have him at 5.
Would you?
I think I'd have him 5 if I had to do the top QBs. Like, obviously, like, you look at last year, like, yeah, the year before that he threw quite a few picks, and a lot of them weren't his fault. But I think Dak is a good QB. You can't deny that after last year. Some of the plays that he made, some of the balls that he throws into tight windows are ridiculous. Obviously, him and CD now have got that connection. They just need to make sure they get paid and stay. But yeah, I think I think he does make top 5 all time. But I'm trying not to be biased a little bit. Not all time, sorry, top 5 in the league currently. I think trying not to be biased as well. But yeah, I like Josh Allen. Like you said, he's 6'5", 240 odd pounds as a QB, and you watch some of the plays, the way he hurdles defensive linemen to get first downs, his willingness not to go down and to fight for extra yards, and obviously the cannon of an arm on him is ridiculous. It'll be interesting to see what goes this year after losing Diggs. I think it'll be, but I think he's now obviously got Keane Coleman, which is he's got to learn completely now how to play with him. I think it'll be interesting to see how Allen plays this year compared to the years previous.
Yeah, I agree. Because he's basically the guy, isn't he now? He's the guy that has to do it. He's not got the guys around him that he's at. Like you said, he's got rookies coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Can you be the guy that I'll still lead the team to the same place we were at last year? I'll be the guy and step up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, fair enough, man.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Like the list.
Thank you very much.
I expected Dak on there. I'm not going to lie to you.
I know I threw you off with that. I knew I would.
To be fair, he's pure likeable.
Yeah.
I keep mentioning Hard Knocks, but this is how I see like personalities and stuff.
Yeah.
And for the Cowboys one, he was class. Him and Zeke were mint, man.
He's down to earth. Like, he's just a nice guy.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
Right then.
Right, B-Dog. Comeback Player of the Year. So there's actually been, I mean, I'll let you make your mind up. There's been a slight rule change on how the Comeback Player of the Year is judged.
Right.
They say it's been a rule change, right? So by the law, from this year on, it's someone that's missed significant game time due to injury or any other factor that comes back and plays to an elite level. Does that sound any different to what it was in years prior?
No.
Not
at all.
That's what the rule is now, apparently. But so, yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna chuck some shouts for Comeback Player of the Year this year. Who's gonna take that step up and be Comeback Player of the Year?
I've got one on my list. I've got 5. I was really struggling to pick like a 1, so I've got 5 names written down. Again, 5 seems to be the lucky number.
I've got 4.
I really want to see Nick Chubb.
I've got Nick Chubb.
I really want him to come back.
I completely agree.
Watching him play again is different.
Yeah, man. That guy. We were talking earlier about running hard.
Yeah.
That guy runs hard.
Yeah, he runs like there's no one in the world that can stop him.
Yeah.
But he's not just all power. His ability. He's a bit shifty. He's got some speed about him. And even catching the ball, he's not a terrible receiver. No. He's good. But yeah, when you watch Nick Chubb play, he's not going to shy away from contact.
He carries their team. Doesn't he? Absolutely carries them.
He just reminds me
his
of
injury was gross, wasn't it?
It was awful to look at. Like, yeah, and obviously that's like, what is it? He had one when he was at Georgia. He's had one now at the Browns. Both knees.
Tough to come back from there, like.
Yeah, but it's willpower, isn't it? I think when you watch him, it just reminds you of running backs of old who played for Cleveland Browns, like Jim Brown himself. You know, head down. No, you're not going to stop me. I'm going to go through you.
The thing is, if he comes back and puts up similar numbers to what he was putting up before, he's going to win comeback player of the year, isn't
yeah,
it? It's
yeah.
if he can get up to that.
It's getting him set. I've seen a few things, and they said he's not quite ready yet. Might be another couple of weeks, might couple of months. Maybe just before the start, just after the start of the season. But
Yeah.
I think if he comes back and is, even if he's only 5% less than what he was, he's still well in with a shot.
Yeah,
Still well in with
I
a shot.
completely agree with you, man.
What have you got?
Right. Who do I have? I'll put the ones that you might have as well.
Go on.
'Cause I've got one that's a bit left field, and
Go on.
you will not have it. Right. So Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, yeah.
Yeah.
I did not
So
have Joe Burrow.
that's not my left field one. I think again, if he comes back and puts anywhere near, I mean, I say come back. He did play last year,
Yeah.
but he missed a significant amount of time last year.
He did.
Again, if he comes back and puts anywhere near the numbers up that he was putting up previously,
Yeah,
he's in with a shout.
Guess who's back in it? You haven't seen his hair?
Oh, yeah.
Guess who's back?
Looks
Back
like
again.
Looks like Cody Rhodes, man. I seen it on my Instagram. I was like, "Holy shit, what's good?" Sorry, holy something. What's Cody Rhodes doing?
Sugar honey iced tea.
Yeah, but yeah, man.
But yeah, he's
It's an interesting look.
yeah, but like he's just got that attitude, that bit of swagger about him, you know.
I honestly love him.
Yeah.
Shiesty, man. Right,
Look
go on. Who you got?
Kyler Murray.
Oh, right. Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Go on then.
I just, he's got his number one weapon now, doesn't he? Marvin Harrison Jr. You can't deny that now.
No.
He's an athlete. He's another athlete that's unbelievable, and he's obviously still got McBride at tight end now. He's coming back, and he's got James Conner running back, and he's just picked up Trey Benson as well, who was at Florida State. But yeah, I think Kyler himself again scrambling round, smallest quarterback in the league. Doesn't play like it when he's actually playing when he's actually on the field.
Yeah.
But I think now he's got his number one guy. I think it's going to be interesting to see what goes
He's got
on.
every shot, like you said. He's not easy to sack,
No,
is he?
no.
He's not easy to get your hands on.
Not
so
at all.
if he can hold on to that ball for just enough time for his guys to go out and get open,
Yep.
he's got every shot.
He's got every shot at the comeback.
Next up for me, I think you've probably got the same Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Very similar to what we've said before. The guy's already got a Hall of Fame career, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If he comes back, and I hate to say it, obviously for the Jets, if he comes back and has anywhere close to a Green Bay Rodgers season,
Yeah, you're not having much fun, are you, in your division, are you?
really though. We've had our fun for the last 20 years. And we're really getting punished for it now.
You've got another 30 to wait till you get back again.
Yeah, we're really getting punished for it now. But yeah, again, if he comes out and looks anywhere close to Aaron Rodgers of Green Bay, then we're in trouble.
Yeah. Especially now they've put all the weapons around him as well.
Yeah, exactly. The kind of look. I mean, it's the Jets, so they won't get to the playoffs anyways. But like,
yeah, I'm kind of on the board. The Jets might make it if they play well. If everyone stays healthy.
Mate, it's the Jets. They won't make the
Yeah,
playoffs.
I know, but you can't never kick out the underdog.
They won't be in the playoffs. But I forgot what I was even going to say. Oh yeah, the offense and the defense look scary for the Jets this year.
it does.
They'll just jet it and not make the playoffs.
Sorry, Si.
I'm sorry. That's just a fact. You guys just don't make playoffs. My last one is Christian Gonzalez.
Oh, I did not have.
I genuinely believe this. Before, I mean, don't get us wrong. It was his rookie year and he played 4 games. I'm not disputing the fact that he's not played a lot, but in the 4 games, he looked the real deal.
Yeah,
he looked the real deal.
He did. It was something you were missing last year.
Yep,
Simple as that.
absolutely,
It was a
man.
piece you were missing last year.
The guy came out and he was taking AJ Browns out of games. Week 1, week 2, Tyreek Hill's.
Yep.
Was it week 2? It was one of the first 4 weeks because he got injured week 4. But he's going up against some of these elite receivers and kind of locking them down last year.
Yeah.
That being said, from what I gather, he's struggled to get back up to that in practice.
Right.
But it's practice. Who knows? We'll wait and see. But I think if he has a consistent enough season, gets up to the level of some of the top top DBs in the league. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I'm kind of just willing that one. I'd really like him to do well this year.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll go for one of mine more than nine then. We've mentioned his name already, Anthony Richardson.
Don't mind that shout at all.
I think when you watched him in those first 40 games, especially if you were a fantasy, you've had him in fantasy, like his ability to just run that ball. It was like watching Cam Newton again.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
big, tall, good arm, able to avoid tackles and wanting to get into that end zone.
Weapons around him.
Yeah, weapons around him now. Obviously, Pittman, Donnie Mitchell. You know, Jonathan Taylor at running back. You know,
Yeah, exactly, man.
it's going to be a. I really think if he carries on the way he started last year before the injuries, whoa,
Good shout.
something else. Who else have you got? Anyone else?
I do not have anyone else.
I
I only had 4 because we were supposed to only do 1, but none of us could.
Pick one. Yeah, it was too hard. It was too hard. It was, you know, you're looking at Aaron Rodgers and you're like, it's the obvious one, but you don't want to just pick Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, man.
I also had Tank Dell.
Oh, I don't mind that shout at all.
I also had Tank Dell. I mean, obviously now Diggs is here, and they've just extended Nico Collins, and they've
Don't
obviously got
mind
Dalton Schultz. But Tank Dell last year, his connection to Stroud was phenomenal.
Well, this is what we were saying before about Stroud. The weapons around him now. He's got everything around him, and
Yeah.
if Tank Dell, like you said, gets any of that slice of cake from Stroud, well within a chance, because they're likely going to make the playoffs again.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to have a good go at it. Why not?
Yeah.
You know, why not?
That's it. They've picked up some good players in the off season. You know, they've done what they need to do.
Absolutely agree.
Mm.
Absolutely agree. Right, final segment, B-Dog.
Yep.
Some division predictors. How it's going to work is there's 4 weeks until the season starts.
Yep.
I'm going to do 2 a week until we get to the big kickoff itself.
Yeah,
So we'll
we're
do
all
2
waiting
this
for it.
week before we go. We'll go north, sir.
Yep.
AFC and NFC North,
Yep.
right? You got all 4 standings, or are you just picking who's winning it?
I think I'll just. It's hard. It's really hard. This is what I've got. I'll go through my whole AFC North where I think the teams are gonna end. Oh,
Go on.
So I've got obviously the Ravens.
Yep.
I think the Ravens will top it. Like we've discussed, Lamar phenomenal. He's got his weapons in Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers. You know, that defense again. Yes, they've just lost Patrick Queen, but you can't argue with the Ravens defense
No,
at all
I
and the
could
way
not
they
agree
play.
more. Could not agree more.
I've got the Bengals second.
Yep, we're 2 for 2. I've got exactly the same thing. Yep.
I wonder if we're going to be 3 for 3 though. Again though, the Bengals, Joe Shiesty coming back. He's got his weapons. He's got T Higgins back.
Yeah.
He's got Jamar Chase. They've just lost Mixon, but they've picked up Zach Moss.
Yeah.
You know, so they've still got the weapons.
There's I was watching their practice on the NFL network earlier or yesterday, and they're really hyped about a young guy they've got at the slot.
Who?
I can't remember his
He's
name.
forgot his name now, have you?
Honestly, can't remember his name,
Oh.
but they're big on him, and they're excited to see what happens. So
that'd be good.
wait and see.
Yeah, very much. And then I've gone for the Steelers third.
Me too.
Yeah, I think.
There we go.
I think having those 2 new quarterbacks in to give them a fresh bit of life. They've obviously still got Najee Harris and Jalen Warren as that 1-2 punch in the backfield, and then Pickens, and you know, if Ayuk goes there,
Oh, yeah.
you could they could beat the Bengals.
You could well see them going to 2. Yeah.
Maybe even 1, depending on how comfortable Fields fits in that system. Because they've got the defense to do it. You know, T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, Joey Porter Jr.
Do you think Fields is going to see the team early?
I think it's going to be pre-season is going to be between Wilson and Fields, and they're going to pick before week 1.
I think it's Wilson.
You think they're going to give Wilson a
I
chance?
I do. But hey, we'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see. That's what football's all about.
And the
Browns.
Yeah,
Got
leaves
the
us
Browns last
Browns.
again. Nick Chubb's still currently out. We don't know how he's going to come back. They've just lost Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
No, sorry, they've just gained Jerry Jeudy, should I say.
Yeah.
It was the Broncos that have just lost Jerry Jeudy, so the Browns have gained Jerry Jeudy. So Deshaun Watson's got a few more targets to hit, but I don't know. It's just one of those.
It's more when you look at the strength of the others
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
I just think that the other 3 teams are better than them.
Yeah.
Is it going to be the worst division? No, but like you said, unfortunately for the Browns, that
No, I think the worst division might be the AFC East.
I think I think you might be right. Well, a quarter of it, anyways.
Yeah.
Right, let's go.
AFC North. Go on then. You go for you. You go for your
Right.
4.
Number 1 NFC North. We've got the Detroit Lions.
Yep, I'm agreeing with you there.
I just think that they're going to
Yeah,
pick up where they left off last year. They're only going to get better.
yeah, I agree.
And the way they play football, it's aggressive. They go for it. You're looking at the Vikings, the Bears, the Packers, the Vikings and Bears, both rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I just think the Lions have got enough there to win the division.
Yeah. What have you got two?
I've got the Vikings in number 2.
Oh.
Yeah, you've gone Bears, haven't you?
Nope, I've gone Packers.
Have you? Oh yeah, I went Vikings. The reason I've gone Vikings is because they've got a team ready for JJ McCarthy there just to step into.
Yeah.
They've got he's shown, like I said before, in college that he can be the guy to plug into the system, not play anything insane, but just throw the ball to the right guy. Yeah. And they just happen to have the right guy there to throw it to.
That's true, yeah.
I think he's probably in the most ready team to slot into as a rookie. I believe that he's got the best scenario of just slotting into a team. And I know you talk about Williams and the Bears, all the weapons they've got, but that's a brand new offense they've got.
That is true.
It's all very brand new.
Well, Aaron Jones has only just come to the Vikings as well.
So
it's going to be. I think
it's a good division,
yeah, the North is going to be
It's a really
good to
good
watch
division.
for the NFC. I think.
Yeah.
I think obviously, like you've said, you've got 2 rookie QBs potentially starting in JJ McCarthy and Caleb Williams. Obviously, the Packers, Jordan Love was only drafted a couple of years ago, and the Lions again. Goff's only been there a year or 2.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very good division to watch. You've gone for 3?
I've gone Bears.
Yeah, I've gone Bears as well. I
I've
think
put your Packers last.
like you've said, I think Williams is walking into the best start offensively that a quarterback's ever walked into.
Do you know what I said before about JJ McCarthy being in like the most ready system? I think Williams is the most set up to failure.
Really?
Genuinely, yeah. Yeah, I think the hype that's come around him coming into the league, yes, I'm not disputing. He's an unbelievable quarterback in college. I get that. You come into the NFL, it's different.
Yeah.
And they've gone out and paid. They've sold the house to get him weapons.
Yeah.
If he doesn't succeed, if they're 1-5, his head's gonna drop and it could be a disaster.
Yeah, no,
I think there's a lot on him.
Yeah, you've seen it more than a few times, though, haven't you?
I've seen it a million times
Yep.
over. Yeah.
Yep.
I think the pressure on that young man is nuts, and good luck to him. I hope he does well. But
it's going to be one of those where we're going to see it in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah,
we're going to see it in the first.
That's
couple
it.
Of weeks.
It's all rosy if you go 3-0. If you start going 0-3, 0-4, people start complaining, and it's a slippery slope.
It is.
Packers last.
I've gone Vikings.
Yeah, so our Vikings and Packers were
mixed around. I just like you said. I think JJ's walking in. If JJ McCarthy does start, obviously Sam Darnold is at the moment taking most of the first team reps that I've seen. But I think
they've named him starter, haven't they, Darnold?
Yeah, I think they might have pretty much done.
I think they have.
But I think he's obviously walking in with JJ as the best receiver in the league, hands down. Aaron Jones has just come there from the Packers, and they've already praised his versatility in the pass game and the run game. But the O-line's pretty solid as well. So, and the defense as well for the Vikings again is good. So I think
you're saying all this, but you're putting them last, eh?
I know. But again, I put the Bears just ahead of them. Again, I put the 2 rookie QBs in 3 and 4. I just couldn't decide on which way around.
You can't really argue with that. But like you said there, though, that division's going to be really, really interesting to look at, isn't it?
Especially watching these teams play.
There could kind of be any order.
Yeah.
With those 4.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Next week we'll leave East till the last week before the season because our team is in the
we're
East.
both.
Next week we'll maybe do South, and then West, and then we'll go East. That's everything from me.
That's everything from me.
Right, so thank you very much if you got this far.
Yeah.
Go over on YouTube, subscribe to us, like this video if you've seen it to this point, please. Hopefully we're going to be on Spotify, so go over there and find us. I think there's going to be some other audio-only apps that we're going to be on, so go over there, rate us. I think you can do that. Leave a little review. and we're on Instagram at NerdyFLPod. So go over there and find us as well.
It's perfect. My mum said I had a face for radio.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, I'm hoping we can get this camera sorted out for next week because it doesn't look great. But
Oh, what do you mean? I've got a lovely tan.
well, yeah, that's fair, man. You got to this point. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Ta-da.